in light of the signing of Brady Tkachuk, I thought we could take a look. Take a look at where Ottawa is, what Ottawa did, how bad Ottawa was, how good it could get. Now, Tkachuk is listed as a center. Odds are he ends up on the wing. I could see him being tried with Duchesne and Stone. I could see that being their first line. Dzingel, Bodker, one of them will end up being second line. I'm putting Brown as second line center because ideally that's where he'd end up. Pajot, Zach Smith, Chlapik are in the mix. And then on the right side, Stone, Ryan, Pyatt, and White. Zach Smith needs to come back. He only had 5 goals last year. So there's been rumors that Ottawa's trying to get rid of that cap hit. Good luck with only 5 goals. They're trying to get rid of Bobby Ryan's. Ryan only had 11 goals this past season. Bobby Ryan, the 30-goal seasons are long gone. And Hoffman, of course, is the big subtraction. So Hoffman comes out of the lineup, 56 points, 22 of those points are goals. They got Bodker back. Now, Bodker scored 37 points, so they only lost 19 points. They only lost 7 goals, and I say only because Tkachuk, if you look at it from a Moneyball perspective, you just have to replace Hoffman's production. And if you do it with combined players, I don't know if that's a cheat or not under Moneyball rules, but honestly, Tkachuk, if he can score 20 goals this coming season, and if Hoffman does whatever in Florida, it doesn't matter, because if you add 20 goals with Tkachuk, that basically makes up for that departed amount. Duchesne, Dzingel, and Stone are all capable of 20 goals. I don't know if Dzingel hits 20 again. I could see Dzingel ending up with 17 or 18 instead. But then it's just a matter of somebody else picking it up. So I'm looking at you, Zach Smith, and I'm looking at Gaborik. Gaborik's a guy who came in at the deadline, had 4 goals and 7 points in 16 games. I thought he was going to get bought out. Surprise to me, he didn't. So Gaborik, even though I've got him 4th line here, could end up playing a more important role. Now, Gaborik has lost a step. And that's honestly just reality. But he can still provide some sort of a role for Ottawa. And White is going to be interesting to watch this year as well. 21 games last season, 2 goals, 4 assists. So the offense wasn't there, but he wasn't really getting the ice time for it either. This year he could get the ice time right out of the gate. I think that by officially putting Tkachuk on this roster, I think it allows some guys who shouldn't have been top 6 not to necessarily be top 6. But to do that, Brown also has to make that advance. Brown only played 4 games this past season and had 1 assist in those 4 games. Alex Formenton's another one that's going to be watched. He's not here, but he's here. 1 game last year, no points. It's just 1 game. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because if Tkachuk gets on that first line and if he provides scoring right out of the gate, he can make up for the loss of Hoffman. It's not really scoring that was a problem for Ottawa. Their defense was a misadventure, and their goaltending was not good enough. There were plenty of nights for Ottawa where it looked like they should have at least got a point out of it, and yet the goaltending came up short. I don't know that that's at all going to be fixed on its own this year. They didn't change their goaltending at all, and of course the rumors of Craig Anderson wanting to get out and asking for a trade, those rumors were out there, but I don't know necessarily that he wanted out or that he was on his way to out of town at any point. But for forward groups, honestly, it's with Tkachuk, as long as he makes it, and if Brown makes it, it's not that bad. Now, if Brown comes in and has a bad camp and ends up down on the 4th line, and Pajot goes up to the 2nd and Smith ends up on the 3rd, or if Tkachuk ends up being tried in the middle, if Tkachuk ends up in the middle, then what you're doing is you're making it so your left side's potentially Dzingel, Bodker, Gaborik, and Pujärvi, which I don't think that's going to work. So there's still room here where things could go bad, but by adding Tkachuk, if Tkachuk, Duchesne, and Stone are aligned, and if they work well, and Duchesne's numbers, no, they weren't where we wanted them to be, but Colorado fans are going to say, right, welcome to our world. The truth of the matter is that Duchesne can be a 65, 70 point guy down the middle. And if Stone can provide 70, 75 points, it's 140 points right there. Tkachuk puts up 60, it's 200 points. It's doable. It's not an easy road, but with Duchesne and Stone both being unrestricted free agents next summer, they may be a little more motivated to put up some points. And if things work out really well and they have some great chemistry with Tkachuk, who knows? Maybe this makes it easier to re-sign him, because the number one thing that makes guys re-sign, especially re-sign for less money than they might get on the market, is winning. These players are looking to win. We all talk about the money, and this guy got this amount, and that guy got that amount, and oh, he doesn't deserve this or he deserves that. The number one thing that decides how much money a guy gets, very often the number one decider could be money. But honestly, with the way contracts are now, with the salary cap being what it is, I think winning is just as important. So there you go. I think this is a forward group that can be competitive. I know majority of people are picking them to finish last, but adding Tkachuk could really help the team quite a bit. And I think for Ottawa Senators fans who may not have wanted Brady Tkachuk at the time, I might have said we wanted Zadina. Why do we grab Tkachuk? I have a feeling by the end of October, they may be singing a different tune and they may be very happy to have him. He has a higher upside than his brother Matt, and Matt's a popular guy in Calgary. Not necessarily popular outside Calgary, but within the Calgary fandom he is. And I think that if Matt Tkachuk took everything to heart from the meeting he had with the NHL, meeting he had with Calgary as well after suspension, I think Matt Tkachuk could be one of the best power forwards in the league, and I think Brady could end up being ahead of him. And it's that kind of sandpaper that I really think Ottawa needed in their lineup. So I totally understand and agree with them drafting him when they did. And we'll see how it turns out for them. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know how you think it turns out. And if you're an Ottawa fan, how much better do you feel about this season knowing that Brady Tkachuk has signed? Because this is a team that didn't really have anybody who wanted to be there. It seemed that everybody wanted out of Ottawa. And now here's a draft pick saying, yeah, I could have stayed in college. I could have gone UFA and gone somewhere else. But you know what? Rather than re-enter the draft or go UFA and go somewhere else, I'm going to sign in Ottawa. And this is a guy whose dad played in the NHL for a very long time, and it looks like his brother could as well. So he's got the pedigree, could be a star, and it could be a turning point. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And there you go. The idea that Hoffman being traded cripples the team is probably overstating it. Did they get enough back? Maybe not. But adding Tkachuk could help quite a bit. So once again, let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon.